lined up the top stars from Hollywood and from all over the world to entertain you on a giant screen with the few colorful motion pictures you've been hearing about and reading
It's
about.
showtime, folks. Enjoy the show.
We're delighted to have you with us. They're driving theater.
You'll find something to please you to add to your evening's enjoyment.
Is pleased to bring you our feature presentation.
Hey, I was just doing stuff on the computer, and oh my God, now we're doing a show. What's going on, you guys? Just sharing that stuff to my Facebook profile page. It's the Driving Speakerbox. We're back. I am, of course, Bo Counts, a.k.a. the Boom Operator.
Oh, snap. And I'm Jake, the Grip.
Oh, well, welcome.
Real names.
Real, I know. It's getting
up this week.
It's getting personal. It's when two guys get into a radio show and things start getting real.
Mad real.
Mad real. You remember when the real world was new? Do you guys remember that? Is that like a thing that anyone in this generation can still talk about? What's up, Vince?
No, that was never my thing. I was never into
the real world. I believe it was Seattle.
Reality stuff.
I think it was Seattle.
Not my scene.
Well, and it changed the world. It changed MTV, and then Road Rules happened. And those Real World versus Road Rules, and then there was Big Brother came along, and then there was all these reality shows and Survivor, and then all these competitive reality shows, and then Real Housewives, and then it changed the game, and life sucks now, and TV is dead as we know it. Although we're coming back. TV is having a renaissance now, and we are fortunate enough to be able to witness it, and we're going to talk about some of that later. But
dude, speaking of TV, did you see your glass there? I wouldn't sip on that if I was you, bro.
This glass?
Oh, yeah.
This glass right here?
Bad things happen when that banner flies and wine is drank. Yeah. I've heard that song and seen that logo enough times that I know what goes down when you...
Red weddings, red wine weddings. What's up, Dina? What's up, McLean? What do we got? New York in 92, and I don't remember that. Yeah, see, okay, I remember Seattle, too, because the dude, they were throwing the fish. That's the one I remember. I don't remember the New York one either. Heard a mention on a Watch Mojo Top 10... Oh, shit. McLean, you're a baby child. You don't remember those things. But anyway, we've got a lot of fun stuff to talk about tonight. We're going to be reviewing movies as we do each week. We're going to be telling you what's coming out in theaters this week. There's some cool movies coming out, and we're going to be talking about a couple of cool movies. We both went, well, you didn't see a movie in theaters, but you watched a brand new movie that just came out.
Well, it was a movie that was supposed to be in movie theaters and spent its life in development hell for the last 10 years.
And which movie was that?
The Dirt.
The Dirt. I believe that's the Motley Crue movie that just came out. Well, we're going to be talking about that. And I went and saw the new film, Us. They went back to Seattle more than one time, I think, Vince. I mean, we'll have to. I'll have to check it out. I don't have the power of the internet. It's just the power of my dome to come up. And my dad's up there watching Magnum P.I.
Oh yeah.
Well, didn't we say we're gonna work on an intro video where we dress up like Magnum P.I.? Was that a thing that we were talking about? And I'd be the money guy, and you'd be
Higgins.
Yeah, I could be Higgins. Right now, in my current physical physique, I could totally be Higgins.
Our host at the Fell Lab could be like TC.
Yeah.
We got the gang, man.
Yeah.
We just need to have the goofy guy. There was like the one guy that was kind of a goof with longer hair that also got on Higgins' nerves. He was like the manager of the resort, and Higgins hated every part of him.
Yeah. Well, the Motley
Higgins
Crue
hated every part of everybody.
Yes, Dirt. We're going to be talking about that movie later in the show, and I'm going to be talking about Us. We're going to be bringing that our reviews to you in your face tonight, so stay tuned. Before we get into all of that fun movie talk, we're gonna do the social media plugs right there, bottom of your screen.
Check them out.
Twitter, we don't tweet much, but you can follow us. Instagram, though, you can hit us on our Instagram. We're about to post tonight. We're going to get some exclusive pics with the grip here with some celebrities that he hung out with over the weekend. We went down to the Texas Pinball Festival, and we played a lot of games. We Dallased it up pretty hard. The grip over here, he got to meet old John Rhys Davies, star of Sliders, Indiana Jones, and the, 2 Indiana Jones movies. And also, of course, Gimli from the Lord of the Rings trilogy.
And he was the voice of Treebeard in Lord of the Rings, and he's done several voiceovers for DC animated properties and things like that.
Everybody knows the voice of John Rhys Davies. He's a really, really awesome dude. So you can check out our Instagram if you want to see some of those exclusive behind-the-scene pics of the life and times of the drive-in Speakerbox. You can do that. And, of course, follow us on Periscope if you want to check out videos there, if that's your viewing platform of choice. Or you can find us on the Facebooks at facebook.com/the Drive-In Speakerbox. Or like and subscribe on our YouTube channel. YouTube. We are live. And it's going to be pretty good. TPF stands for Texas Pinball Festival.
That's where he was at. That's where I met the Munsters as well. The 2 remaining members of the Munsters, Pat Priest and Butch Patrick.
Yeah, it was a good time.
Yeah, John Rhys Davies was super cool. So,
I mean, and tell us the story about you guys' common ground.
Oh yeah, man. He was super nice, very personable. He wanted to talk to you, which was a fun thing. I did get to talk to him about movies and things like that. I ended up having some time to spend with him, and then we talked about cars and being bouncers and all sorts of things like that. So I got a very cool personalized autograph. And
see, I didn't know he used to be a bouncer.
Some time with him. Oh yeah.
So he was a bouncer. You're like, I'm a bouncer by night. He goes, well, I was a bouncer in the UK.
Yeah, kind of like that.
Yeah. Jakey. Oh, and he gives you a pat on the back. And
he did do things like that, yeah.
Didn't he tickle your butt or something?
No, what?
That's what you said. He was like, we were taking a picture, and he fingered my bee just a little bit to make me squirm.
No one would do that.
Would you let him if he tried?
What?
I don't know. It's John Rhys Davies, this famous person. I mean,
what kind of show is this?
It's a show about. It's when two guys stop being polite and start getting real.
Well, he was very polite. We had great conversations about his career. But he did
tickle you though, didn't he?
No, he did this thing where he would poke your ribs to make you smile for the picture.
So he poked you and made you smile. Is that what you're saying?
Why are you doing this?
Because it's easy and it's fun.
Thanks, Vince. Yeah. I think this is a pretty rad shirt, too. It's also a TPF exclusive.
Who else did you get to meet?
With art by the pinball guy that did the pinball art for the Munsters, Franchi. He was actually super cool as well. He's done a lot of art for these 60s retro theme pinballs with Munsters and Batman.
I'm going to adjust your mic. I'm going to put it right here.
And the Beatles and things like that. So, yeah, I got to meet Butch Patrick and Pat Priest. Actually paid for an exclusive VIP
the 2 remaining
experience to meet the Munsters.
So I didn't meet Eddie Munster directly, but I did see him running around the committee, and he looked like a little dick. Like he was he had short guy syndrome real hard. You know how short guys are always just like, I'm just having a good time. You step to me, just I dare you. I'm gonna grab a scrappy. You know, like what was Scooby's Scrappy Doo? Where they're just like, let me at him, I'll splat him. And I could just see Eddie Munster being like the Scrappy Doo until his 60s or 70s or whatever he is, and he just looked angry. I was like, bro, you get to go hang out in a room with thousands of people that are literally thinking you're still cool and relevant, and at least put a smile on, at least be cool.
I tried to get some cool exclusives for you guys out there. Talk to them. paid for the opportunity to do that. One of only 64 people allowed to do so.
Nice.
In attempts to help provide you with entertainment out there, so you can learn about monsters from TV and movies and things like that. And unfortunately, they did not permit that.
They were just like, here's your autograph, nerd, move along.
Yeah, straight up.
Well, it was cool. We had a great
So
time.
I'll take a picture of my fancy one of only 64 autographs to show you guys on the Instagram.
Because you know what? He's probably going to die soon, so value's going to go up.
Wow, not cool.
What? I mean, it's just truth. Especially if you're running around acting like a dickhole.
Pat Priest was really nice.
Karma's going to catch up with you, bro.
For an 83-year-old lady who people probably only ever wanted to talk to about the Munsters, she was super cool.
I mean, yeah. Duh. Own it. If you
Let's
make
not
that
talk about how much the VIP experience was, Vince.
Yeah, it was.
That's too much.
Yeah, it's too much VIP. Well, that's what being a VIP is about. It's like throwing around that cash money.
I should have wore my
You don't even
exclusive lanyard
Just like,
and
yo.
badge that I paid all that money for.
You should have. You should have brought it.
I should be drinking from my
flexed.
exclusive mug.
Flexed. Yeah, where is your... We're sitting here drinking. You're drinking out of a water bottle like a plebe when you could be hitting that Munsters VIP chalice that you brought.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Bow. Yeah.
Well,
where's that? I'm drinking exclusive like
Death juice.
death juice out of my
Game of Thrones.
House Stark
Murder grapes.
murder grapes right here in the full house.
What's that? Oh, no.
No, he only drinks cold, hard American beer like Coors or Budweiser.
Yeah, great beers featured in movies, my friend.
Yeah, because when we all went out drinking, he was like, give me a Coors. I'll have another Coors, please. We're at this bar. Let's get a Coors. And then he went to one bar and they're like, can I get a Coors? And the only short, stubby bottle they had was Red Stripe. And then he drinks a Red Stripe and he's like, I'm going to be sick from this Jamaican trash water.
Hey, man, I'm just saying the bandit didn't run across state lines to bring any lesser beer to the good people of Atlanta.
So it was only Coors.
Riggs and Murtaugh didn't bond and become the great team that they were over any beer less than Coors.
Coors. Yeah.
Sam Elliott has not endorsed a beer any less than Coors.
Coors. Well, anyway, let's
Not
talk.
sponsored by Coors, but hey,
Coors.
if you want to. Miller.
It's Miller time. Let's talk about news, shall we? Terminator Dark Fate is moving right along. I don't know if you guys have heard about this. We've talked about it a little bit. James Cameron returning to the franchise to hopefully turn the franchise around.
And Linda Hamilton, right?
That's what they say. But they have selected a composer to work on the score. The Brains, a.k.a. Tom Holkenborg, otherwise known as Junkie XL, who did the score to Mad Max Fury Road and Superman, Batman, Dawn of Justice, and all this other stuff. He is coming and doing... He also did all the Taken movies, music, and he's coming as a composer. And I normally wouldn't mention things like this, but A, it's Terminator, and B, I've totally played a set with Junkie XL back when I was like a relevant DJ back in the early 2000s. Lesser known fact about the old boom operator.
Is that a callback to a show or two ago where you talked about everyone being in their Cat in the Hat hats and their like the crazy gothic Hot Topic jeans?
Well,
and they're like,
well, before Junkie XL got big into the
how did it go? You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. It was like that one weird dance, but before he became doing all the film scores, he was like, an electronic musician and DJ and producer. And then he played a show not far from here, and I got booked to be the opener and got to, meet him. A really nice guy, really humble guy. And we played a banging set together, and it was, what was that?
Oh, that face is about the Coors Light comment. Get that out of here.
What about Coors? Are we wanting to talk more about Coors Light?
No.
Liquid gold. Isn't that their slogan?
No,
that's Coors. Coors Banquet is liquid gold, and Coors Light isn't acceptable.
What? Where are you? No.
I don't drink beer much. I mean, I don't drink occasional beer, but I stick to wine and gin and bourbons and things that get the job done faster. Yeah.
Extend that pinky fancy,
And
man.
Henny and Hypnotique. And tonight's show is going to be brought to you by
Liquor.
Liquor. It just matter.
Wow.
That's Carson, like our bartender. I heard so many of those jokes this weekend. But let's talk more about movies. So that's coming out. We've got other stuff coming out on the horizon. People talking about different things in the news. Not a whole lot of news. The Apple TV launch. I don't know if you've been following that. Not a lot of things that were really exciting about that launch of the Apple TV, except for one thing that stood out to me. And I know everybody's hating on Steven Spielberg right now because, well, of his comments. But do you guys remember Amazing Stories? Anyone? No? Grip? No? You? You didn't? Oh. Amazing Stories, dude. Amazing Stories. Oh, man, it was like Jim Henson was always involved, and Spielberg was involved. Like, all these cool directors were involved, and it was like the Twilight Zone for family entertainment, and Amazing Stories. Oh, man, here in a second. Can we get the theme song to Amazing Stories? Maybe this will spark a little bit of your imaginations. Because Amazing Stories was really awesome, and they're bringing it back for Apple TV. And you know, everybody was talking about like, well, did you all the other stuff that Apple TV is wanting to do, like the morning show that has like Reese Witherspoon, Jennifer Aniston, Steve Carell. Who cares? We're talking about Amazing Stories. We're talking about if they do that Terry Gilliam like Time Bandit show. I mean, come on. But Amazing Stories, like, do we have that? Do we have that pulled up? Amazing Stories theme song. Here we go. Do you remember anything about this? Give it a second. Give it a second. Yeah, and it was like, here's a book that's opening up. Yeah, here it is. And it's like, here's a little vignette and another vignette of some cool shit.
It was like a CGI book.
Yeah, and it opened up and it was like, gold glitter thing, the more you know. And then here's a Jim Henson puppet monster and a kid that can fly.
Was it like little bubbles of videos? And it was like
whoosh. Here's one amazing story. Here's another amazing story. Every time you tune in, it can take you to only the powers of your imagination. Yeah, this was awesome, dude. Yeah, Amazing Stories. Yeah, season 2 wasn't released. Okay, but it was great, and I have very fond memories of Amazing Stories, and they're bringing it back. Hey, man, I have
Apple fond memories of short-lived shows like Thunder in Paradise. That only existed for one season.
And Briscoe County Jr.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but Amazing Stories, I cannot wait to find another streaming service to watch these on that's not Apple, because guess what? Apple can suck it all day long. Apple TV can suck it. Apple phones can suck it. All your Apple iTunes can suck it, but you can find our podcast on iTunes. You can find our podcast on iTunes.
You're getting straight drive.
Yeah, just Apple, because Apple, like, I'm over it. I'm so over Apple. I like just make devices, you know. And here's a little thing, another chapter of the boom operator's life that is somehow relevant to your life. So once upon a time, I worked in the tech sector, and I did a lot of business with Apple. A lot of technology sales, and so I became real chummy with some Cupertino dudes on the upper echelon of Apple, because I was buying millions and millions of dollars worth of Apple stuff for the University of Arkansas each year. And so I was hanging out with an Apple tech whose name I shall not name, so he doesn't get murdered by the Apple like Black Ops team. But he would, every time he would fly in, we would have lunch, and he couldn't text me. He couldn't say it over the phone. He couldn't say it in an email or in an instant message. But when we would meet face to face, he would give me a list of updates to not get, because I had work issued Apple devices. He's like, don't get this one, get this one, don't get this one, skip this one. Now you can't. Now you don't have a choice anymore. But he was like, oh, this one's just, you know, scheduled obsolescence to screw your machine up. This one's supposed to improve this, but this one's meant to destroy your productivity on blank, blank, and blank. And this one's supposed to half your battery life. So the And he said this. Another guy came in from Cupertino. He goes, Bo, let me tell you something, man. because I had all these questions. He's like, make no mistake, Apple is a hardware company. We are in business to sell you devices. And he goes, any software or solution we come up with is just a solution for us not selling enough hardware. So we are in the hardware business, not the solution business. And that has never left me.
Designed obsolescence.
Yeah, designed obsolescence. They make solutions for them not selling enough hardware every year. So that is their business model. When they're in the business of hardware and software that work together on the same platform, they have the control of when you buy new hardware. And that is their business model. Oh, yeah, they're following the event.
They've admitted that.
Yeah.
They've rolled that like on every.
It's new religion.
Upgrade.
Speaking to your microphone. Yeah, we got the Fall Labs. He's in the tech sector. Get in here.
Yeah. So no, I was just saying, like Apple, admitted not too long ago. I want to say in the past few years that for every iOS update, it reduces it. The performance has decreased per iteration of it.
Yeah.
And people knew about it. It's like these fanboys and girls just knew
They
about
don't
it.
care.
But they're like, no, take my money.
It's like the Bible.
Well, to stray away from that real quick, not to start any kind of like
Religious war.
fanboy war. Yeah, I guess religious war here. Every time one of my Android updates comes through, it's like, hey, dude, how would you like more memory? A little bit more battery power. I'm like, well, that would be tight. And actually, this phone has lasted me way longer than any other phone has ever lasted, and it just never gets worse. The only time bad things happen is when I'm like, I need so many things open on the internet because I'm buying cars and Amazon things.
Yeah, I would still be using some of my old devices if I didn't drop them and totally like pollute them with apps. Like I have phones that are still functional like years later that I give to my mom because she's just like, okay, I don't care about the crack on the screen. And
the handset's not even a flagship Android handset, right? I mean, that's not like
That's
a
like a
top-
It's an S.
It's an okay.
Oh yeah, it's a Samsung S7 Edge.
Oh, yeah, okay,
They
yeah.
made me give my
I'm still
Note
rocking that
back. I had one of the Note 7s.
Oh, the bomb in your pocket?
No. Well, see, that's the thing. They got advertised that way.
yeah.
It was there
because
was
Apple's
Apple
exploded
said it.
too.
yeah, Apple's actually really did explode, and it would hiss beforehand and actually explode. The Samsungs would get hot, and there were 2 confirmed cases with 7 suspected. It was 1 of every 500,000. So there were less than 7 worldwide suspected. Only 2 confirmed. You had a 1 in 500,000 chance. And they forced you to give it back. I actually took
dude,
this
when that happened,
the
we
last day.
accepted herpes more than we accepted those Galaxy phones at the time, and 1 in 4 people have that.
They got banned.
you know?
It was put into law and word that they were banned.
get on an airplane with this phone.
Yeah, they were released 1 or 2 weeks before the Apple, and the Apple actually hissed and would explode like a grenade. And everyone's like, well, what? But the Samsung
But
one.
it's my iPhone.
Yeah,
Okay.
The Samsung one caught one person's car on fire because they buried their phone in the back seat with a bunch of laundry on top of it.
And how does this relate to movies? Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Marvel Cinematic Universe is that hissing explosion.
Well, and here, and it's true, though, because what I'm getting at here and why this is relevant is, we were talking about Apple TV.
Dude, my Note 3 still works, too.
But how it's also relevant is fanboy mentality affects the way we watch and we pay for things. And the Marvel Cinematic Universe and other things like it, like Hollywood studios, they're trying to create a culture around these movies, which when you establish a culture, you get a fan base that will accept good and bad material and indiscernibly. They're just like, I just need more material, instead of looking at each iteration objectively. They're like, no, we just need the next thing. So if we can establish Drive-In Speakerbox as the next cult following, everything's going to be really good. So anyway, Apple, amazing stories. That's the only thing I'm excited about pirating on the internet. Except for I don't pirate anything on the internet. I pay for all my content. Copyright Drive-In Speakerbox 2019. Pirating is for bad people, and you shouldn't do it. You should always pay. You should always pay for your content. I always pay for my content. I always pay for my content. Anyway, let's talk about.
I actually do. I really
You
do.
actually do, and that's Captain Rule follower over here.
Well,
It's unbelievable.
okay. Off the record. Turn it off. Turn everything off. Are we clear? Are we
Yeah,
clear?
it's all off.
I used to torrent like crazy. Like, used to, you know.
We're secretly still on. What? No. We're still on.
No, I used to do that. That's how I obtained a lot of super rad Stephen Chow movies that I would have never been able to watch in the United States otherwise.
Different. That is different. So, you know, a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away on Drive-In Speakerbox.
I think I paid my dues because I'm always like, watch Stephen Chow movies.
Well, and because I've made part of my life dedicated to reviewing films and talking about films and entertainment. One of the things that I would often do is, you know, when you can't get a screener copy, when you can't find somebody that, you know, that's in the academy, because I have friends that are in the academy that would lend me their copies of DVDs before, you know, internet was fast, and but before all that, sometimes you just cannot find this content. Sometimes we do not get movies in the theater here. Sometimes I would prefer to seek these things out on their because I'm a big fan of watching things in the director's intended format, which is a thing that, you know, I love going back to David Lynch talking about watching movies on your cell phone. If you could maybe try and find that clip of David Lynch, play the audio from that. It's just David Lynch thoughts on cell phone, something like that. But the thing that's important is there is director intent of how these things are supposed to be viewed, and I think that goes back to the Steven Spielberg's content or comments about Netflix movies. Is, you know, do we have the clip here? Listen to David Lynch, his thoughts on
movie on a telephone.
Yeah.
Now, if you're playing the movie on a telephone, you never in a trillion years experience the film. You'll think you have experienced it, but you'll be cheated. It's such a sadness that you think you've seen a film on your fucking telephone. Get real.
Get real, man.
Real. But no, that's very, very true. And on that note, I'm glad that we played that clip because Netflix announced this week, I don't know if you heard about this, but Netflix announced this week that they are offering a mobile plan that is, I only think like $4 or $5 a month, that is just for mobile devices only. And
that's kind of cool. I mean, they're like, hey, it's not as good, so.
Well,
but if that's all you got,
hey, we know you're going to do it anyway. And why not get your own plan instead of mooching off your friends? That's the gambit here, is they know that people are doing all the sharing of passwords, and they want you to subscribe. They want you to get your own plan. And when you do, I mean, hey, $4 extra is better than $0 extra if they're going to be streaming it to you anyway. Am I right? And but again, going back to the original point is I like to view the content in the original preferred format, and if I can't find it, I'm gonna go find that content.
Hold on, Vince watching Lawrence of Arabia on a smartwatch. Yeah.
For life.
Yeah.
For life. But yeah, you know, and you know, to Dina and Sam and Vincent's point, like, you know, you try to pay for everything when you can, but sometimes you can't. And sometimes you just need to find the internet.
Oh yeah, so. or let someone in Southeast Asia do it for you and buy the VCDs and have all of like the top quality VCD. That's how I used to watch a lot of movies, man. Just hanging out with my friends, they're like, "Oh, look at what got picked up."
VCD. So on VCD, just to give you got some VCD.
Oh, at my parents' house, which were mine, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah?
Plenty of VCDs, super VCDs. I mean, we had laser discs, too.
Oh, I had laser discs. I still have some laser discs.
Yeah, karaoke on laser discs.
Oh, dude, yeah.
Yeah, I'm talking like you're walking and there's at the market.
Yeah.
And they're like, look at all these movies that haven't even been released yet.
Ooh.
And you're like, oh,
VCD.
Well, I think I will watch those. So
once upon a time, I was a manager at Hastings Entertainment, which I don't even think exists anymore. But there was a DVD player that came out, and I think I still have it in storage somewhere. But it was a special DVD player that was like IPEX or something brand, and it got really expensive because people figured out that there was a certain combination of keys you could hit on the remote control.
It's that tiny Apex I. Yeah.
Yeah.
You could play anything. You know,
You could unlock the dev menu in the thing, and it was all regions.
Yeah.
You could play anything, and so I had that. And
I just had a region-free DVD player though.
well, this was before region-free DVD
This
players
was cheap.
were a
This
thing.
is like
yeah.
what, sub $70?
Yeah, it was like
bucks
$49.99,
Yeah.
and this was in the day when you couldn't get this kind of crap. And it was an accident. This was not supposed to be released in the States. And then I bought one, and me and the original host of the Drive-In Speaker Box, my other co-host, aka the Negative Cutter, going way back in the not even recorded days of the Drive-In Speaker Box. He and I, we would watch all these, we would get online on Auction Universe before it became eBay, and we would buy these VCDs of all these weird, art films that we wanted to watch and foreign films. And
Yeah, I've done that. I've bought, just like Dina said, I've been on eBay before. I'm like, yo, I need to get that Japanese movie about Oda Nobunaga that you could never buy in the U.S. Most
season
recently,
2 of Amazing Stories.
Most recently for that, I bought a collector's edition of Kamikaze Girls. It was like a Korean
was it Kamikaze
exclusive.
or Kamikaze?
Kamikaze Girls.
Because I thought you said Kamikaze, and I think that's a different movie altogether.
Why are you like this? Who hurt you to make you this way? Have you never seen Kamikaze Girls?
No, I haven't. Have
Oh,
you ever
dude.
seen Tetsuo the Iron Man? Oh, then we're even.
Is it?
I know you've never watched this movie. Oh, is this what I
Wait,
think
no,
it is?
it's like a creepy thriller,
Direct
right?
from the Tetsuo the Iron Man?
Yeah.
It's creepy.
It's done by the same guy that did Ichi the Killer, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, I know what you're talking about.
Is this a Superman shot? You know Jake's not going to take one.
I can't do it.
He's not going to do one.
I got gum in. I got
and
work.
it's
I can't.
it's a Wonder Woman shot.
But I can't do it.
But it's just hypnotic.
No, dude, I got.
It's not even real liquor.
I can't do it.
It's like 20% tops.
Not permitted.
It's like Wonder Woman and Superman. And Batman.
What?
Batman
The
coming in.
Trinity.
Yeah, are you
All
gonna?
right, whatever.
Here it is. Here it is.
I'll be the Amazon.
To the drive-in speaker
I
box.
know. Region free DVDs, y'all.
Region free. That's good stuff.
Hastings. What's the gum in, man?
Yeah. June 13, 2016, from Vince here. Hastings Entertainment filed voluntary petitions in the United States. Well, yeah, duh. You've been in Hastings. Hastings was cool.
Yeah. Hey, I worked at Hastings too.
Hey, Gentry Collier, look at you watching the driving speaker box. Hey, man, we used to work at, oh my God, Gentry. We used to work at Hastings together. Blast from the past. Holy crap. Shout outs to Gentry. Look at that. Yes, I never talk about Hastings, but I'm talking about Hastings today and all the good times that we had.
Well,
we had good
Hastings
times.
used to be pretty fun.
It was tight.
Sometimes,
And
yeah.
people, okay, one of my favorite stories, Gentry, I don't know if you were here for this or even remember this, but this is amazing that Gentry is watching an episode of The Driving Speaker. I haven't even seen this guy. I haven't talked to this guy in ages, but here he is on the Facebook.
Speaking of fanboys,
dude,
look at
I'm
this.
excited, man. This is cool because I can share a story from my past that someone who was a part of my past could actually remember. So I was working at Hastings, right? And I was a GSM, which was kind of the shift manager, and this lady comes up, and this is VHS, and people bringing in this cassette because we had to rewind tapes all the time, and this lady brings this video back, and so she brings this video back, right? And we had these rain checks. You could issue somebody a rain check. It was like a coupon for like another rental or whatever, and she comes back and she's like, excuse me, I didn't like this movie too much. And because it was VHS, I could instantly look at the tape and see if she had watched the whole thing or not, because
if she was not kind.
Yeah,
and rewind.
So she was not kind. She did not rewind, and I could tell that she watched the whole movie. And I was like, "Well, ma'am, what was wrong?" She's like, "I just didn't like it. Plus, there were black bars on the tops and bottom of the screen." I'm like, "Well, ma'am, that's called anamorphic. It's letterbox format, 16:9. Blah blah blah." And I explained to her how aspect ratios work, and pan and scan, standard depth, blah blah blah. And she, of course,
this is pre-widescreen TV.
She gave no shits, and so.
The sad thing is you made a lot more working at Hastings.
Yeah, I made more working at Hastings than I do the driving Speakerbox, but I love this, Owen. So anyway, so she's getting really mad. I go, ma'am, you clearly watched this movie to the very end. And she's like, well, I just didn't like it. And I go, well, ma'am, we can't give you money because you don't appreciate a good movie, because it was a good movie. I don't remember the name of the movie, but I remember it being good because I got in her face about it. And I was like, no, ma'am, this is a good movie. I can't give you a refund because your tastes are poor. And she goes, well, can I speak to your manager? And I'm the GSM on duty, right? I am the manager. And so I look at her and I go, ma'am, I'll go get the manager. Just give me one moment. And
Did you spin in a circle like Wonder Woman?
I took one step back, spun in a circle, and then walked back up to her, and I said, hi, I'm Bo. How can I help you? I'm the manager on duty. And she got so mad. She was furious. And she was just like, and she had nothing to say, but she snatched a comment card as dramatically as she could. She was, yoink! And then she stormed out the back door, and it was fantastic. And we were all super, super happy. I don't know if that comment card ever got turned in, because I was a great GSM, thank you very much. And Hastings Entertainment, going out to Gentry Collier, the good old days. I miss video stores. They were amazing.
I don't miss Hastings.
Did you ever work in a video store?
I worked at Hastings.
What department?
I was in receiving, bro.
Oh, well, that's why you didn't like it.
What? No, I got to be in the back, and I got to pump whatever jams. You could walk out to the CD section, and any used or resale, like pre-used CD, you could open it up and listen to it in the back while you were working, and just repackage it and put it back out. It was fun. I was in charge of the periodicals, so that meant that I got first hands and eyes on all the comic books.
All the nudies. That was one of the worst jobs.
No, you did have to tear.
You worked in receiving. You didn't have to understand how this worked. Travis, I'm going to get to your comment in a minute.
I had to tear all the covers off of them, and I developed a system so I didn't have to look at all of like the
bullshit
naked peni.
Yeah, bullshit. You took all those covers and put them in a backpack and took them home.
No, you had to send them back for credit, for retail credit. True. But if you laid them face up, content down, and tore towards you, you never had to see anything except for the top cover, because there were some weird magazines on sale. But one of the worst,
at Hastings, when you worked on the floor, one of the worst things was, because I mean, again, this is back in a bygone era when printed titties and dinglings were on. I had to
stock the product. I was out there like stacking the pornog.
But they had the bags. They had the covered censored bags.
Except for the guy that was sitting there without it, and I was like, "Hey, dude, you can't do that." And he's like, "What?
No,
what? But the green ink's on my fingers already from ripping the bag." I'm like, "Dude, you can't." There's kids.
But that's the point that I'm getting at, is as a closing duty, someone always had to rebag the porno that all the people that had opened up, and it was always the weekend shift, because, at Tuesday, no one's going to unbag a lot of porn. But on Friday and Saturday nights, people would unbag all the porn, and you had to get the stack of the unbagged porn and rebag it. And it was just like, you get the latest issue of Sausage and Lips and like all the jugs.
Sausage, is that a real magazine?
Yes! All these were real-ass magazines.
Well, you know what? I had to do inventory scans because we had to keep track of all of the videos and books and various things. Someone would always come in and they would cut around the perfect shape of all of the pornog pictures and then stuff it into the children's book sections. Some sick.
Was that you?
No, man.
You worked in receiving.
Well, we were the ones that we'd be out there with the scanners, and you'd be like, boop, boop, boop. You have to like type it in. It takes 5 minutes because it won't scan. And then the next one, there's just like perfectly outlined, cut out, stuffed in kids' books. And you're like, what's wrong with you people? Every time.
Dude, see, this is a thing that people will never understand. How, like, brick and mortar department store, media stores, like, this is a thing that young people need to experience.
No.
Look at this. We are collaborating. And look, like, we got Travis in here talking. We got Gentry in here talking. We got Vince and Sam all commiserating on how
I was
awesome
a back of house employee. I didn't have scams, but if the scam was, I was the first one to touch comic books, so I got to have first pick. And one time I scored a comic that was worth over $200 day one, because it was you had to order like over 230 issues to get the one variant cover, and we got one by mistake for some reason. I bought
And
it
where'd
for
it go?
$1.54, and later that day it was worth over $200 instantaneously.
And
it
where-
went into my comic book collection.
Do you still have it?
Oh yeah.
Is it still worth $250?
No.
You should have sold it immediately.
I should have sold it immediately because I could have bought like 3 more.
That was like the time that me and my friend.
But it was that's the thing, man. As a collector and someone who likes these things, the only reason it's worth money is because someone else wants it. But guess who else? Guess who wants it? I want it. You know, I don't have to pay $200 for something because I already got it. I already got it, man. That's why everyone's like, "Oh, you're gonna sell all these things you collect?"
See, I remember when I say
All my autographs I have them
Oh my
personalized
God.
for
Look at-
me
you can see the
because
alcohol on
I
my
want
cheeks
the
like an
autographs.
Asian guy.
I want autographs from famous people. I want to go meet these famous people that I tried to meet to talk to you guys about. You know, I don't want to put their autograph up for sale or whatever. No, it's for me because I'm the guy that would buy those things.
I remember when I got in a whole lot of trouble. I was like in junior high, or I guess junior high, when the Death of Superman comic happened with the white bag. You couldn't read it on the shelf, and it was like in the white you couldn't read it. You had to buy it to like find out how Superman died, right?
Being punched.
And me and my friend, by that stupid dinosaur guy.
Doomsday.
Mark used to dumpster dive at Hastings. Oh, yeah. A good Steven Sting. Yeah. No, you kept all the old pornos. We know you did. But anyway, so I saved up all this money from, like, you know, working around the house, allowance. Because I didn't get allowance. I had to actually work for shit. And so I got all this money, and I went and I spent like $50 on this comic, right? And I got home, and I saw how he died, and I ripped the plastic. My mom was like, "You did what?" And so I had to go back, and she came with me, like, pinching my ear and leading me back into the comic book store and was like, "You're going to give him his money back." And he's like, "Ma'am, he bought the comic. He's stupid and not my fault." And she's like, "You're going to refund his money." And so, like my mom did mom powers on the comic book guy because, the wrapper was like ripped open, so he couldn't sell it again, but I got store credit, and because my mom was there, so I got double comics. So I got to keep the Superman comic my mom raged out in the store, and I also got to keep $50 in store credit. It was super dang. Thanks, Mom.
$50 for the comic?
Yeah, it was the Superman Dies comic.
Go look at how much they cost now.
Like a penny.
Yeah. And everyone hates it.
Mm-hmm. Well, Mark, I know you found more than just that Stephen King book under the old pornos in the Hastings.
That reminds me, I need to watch The Death of Superman, the new cartoons. That, man, I need to see Hank. What's his name? Cyborg Superman. Hank something.
Crenshaw? No.
Yeah,
Yeah.
No, he has like this just real run
Crenshaw.
of the. He has a real run of the mill name. They're like, his name's Hank Farts Magoots, and you're just like, okay, and he's Cyborg Superman. Yeah,
So,
Henshaw.
Hank
All right,
Henshaw.
So
Nice.
from Mark on Facebook, he said, "True story, a friend who will remain nameless took a bunch of old High Times magazines, which is the weed magazine, and porno mags from that dumpster, the Hastings dumpster, and left reading material in every bathroom stall in Springdale High School." I hope he was still in high school at this time and not like some creepy old skis. But I assume, judging from the time placement of this story, that I bet by process of elimination I could guess who this was. Anyway, let's talk about movies. Now that we're talking about movie stores, let's talk about movies because it is 10 till. We need to get on this train. Let's talk about the movies that are coming out. And speaking of high times, I think this is a really good transition here. Thank you, Mark, for that transition. We're going to talk about the movies that are coming out in theaters this weekend, opening this week, March 29th, 2019. The first movie we're going to talk about, speaking of high times, like I said, it's the new Big Lebowski is what I'm calling this movie, although it could possibly be better. What? Hey, slow it down now. We're talking about... Wait, don't give me that look. Don't give me the look, man.
You ever seen Lebowski?
Are you familiar with Harmony Korine? No, probably not. You ever watch Gummo, my dude?
No.
No? I bet you haven't. It's awesome. Have you ever watched Spring Breakers or Kids or the Trash Humpers or any of these really cool, like, super...
Edgy movies?
They're well, edgy's not the right word. If you've never watched Gummo, It's 1997. It's an old, like, talking about working at Hastings. Like, Gummo was the one where, like, I don't know what to rent. What's good guy comes in, which is an old driving Speakerbox character. He'd come in like, hey man, what's good? What's good to rent? And I was like, dude, don't make me give you a recommendation. No, but what's good? And I'd go, Gummo.
Oh, I would always tell them to watch Kurosawa movies.
Oh, yeah. I'd be like, yeah, check out Gummo. It's awesome. And they would go watch Gummo, and they'd be so mad. They would be super pissed off. Because Gummo is good, but not if you're What's Good guy. What's Good guy just wants to go, hey, man, I'm really into the Avengers these days. Like Iron Man. It's like, pew, pew, man. I fucking love that shit. It's awesome. Like, that's What's Good guy. What's Good guy's not ready for Gummo. But this director, this dude has done a lot of really interesting shorts. Most of his stuff is shorts, but he is returning to feature-length films with the film The Beach Bum. And I don't know if you've seen the trailer for The Beach Bum, but it stars Matthew McConaughey, Snoop Dogg, Isla Fisher. It's got all of the U.S. So you've got limited. Well, first you've got L.A., New York, which is usually like premiere. And those are like really the shortest of the short documentary, like totally sniff your own fart stuff. But LA, New York, and then you've got limited, which is generally under about under 100 theaters nationwide. It's your major markets. Your Austin, your Portland, your Dallas, your Seattle,
Sometimes
San Francisco. No, we usually fall in limited. Limited.
That's what I'm saying. Sometimes.
Or we fall in expanded. Almost
But
always.
we typically get.
Sometimes we will get limited. We will get limited. And thank you, Walton family, for that. We sometimes get limited, but then there's expanded release, which is 500 theaters and under. So you'll hit a lot of the smaller metro markets, things that have multiple theaters, larger cineplexes, anything with an AMC Select, which we actually have one of those here. It's our Fiesta Square Theater. It's our only AMC in Northwest Arkansas, which is kind of weird given our population size. But those expanded release movies will hit that 500 and over, and then nationwide goes all, I think I want to say it's at least 3,000 theaters, or no, 2,700 and under is nationwide. There are 4,900 and some change theaters totally nationwide, but if you go over 25 or 2,700, it's considered nationwide. So there you go. I'm pretty sure, I think Beach Bum is going to hit expanded. That's mine. If it goes nationwide, that's going to be awesome. Ooh, Sam,
wow.
Shots fired.
Coming in.
Oh, Sam on Facebook saying Big Lebowski is meandering,
Dude,
overrated
Sam,
film.
about to get flamed.
Whoa.
Can't say things like that.
Can I get some more Botox? Is that a thing? Like, my cheeks are already super red, so, I mean, I might as well just go for it.
Dude, Lebowski might be a little too pumped up by a little too many people, but it's a good movie.
It is a good movie. But The Beach Bum, if you haven't seen it, check out the trailer. It's out there. A lot of weed smoking, a lot of just like, hey, man, wouldn't be cool if you did. Ha, ha, ha. A lot of McConaughey, a lot of Snoop Dogg. But I think I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be good. I think it's going to be good because Lebowski was very urban. It was very, inner city, and then this is very coastal, very beach, very totally different vibe, different dude.
But they spread Donnie's ashes at the beach.
They did spread Donnie's ashes. Shut up, Donnie. Did you get it? Was the big Lebowski pinball there this year? Yes, it was. Yes, it was.
I don't know.
I didn't play it.
Yeah, I didn't see it. It's usually one that has a line of about 500,000
It always has a line.
People.
It has a line. We didn't play it. But anyway, that's coming out. Also coming out in theaters this week is Dumbo, the new film from Tim Burton, who I haven't been a Tim Burton fan since, God, I couldn't even tell you when the last. What did it for me? Let me think. What was the turning point?
Yeah, but now you get to have a good guy, Danny DeVito, and a bad guy, Michael Keaton, switching their Batman roles.
I mean, this is true. I want to say that it was.
But you're probably also going to have drunken baby elephants and sad times and tears and what's that song like, "Baby Goodnight," where the mom elephant swings Dumbo to sleep and everyone cries like crazy hard.
I don't want to. You need the what's the song? Is it Brandy? Where it's that like you know. I don't want to stand somebody. Tell me about somebody. Do 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 boo do 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 ba bum 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 bum. I've been watching you, like a hawk in the drum. And it's got the baby. Anyway, shut up.
What is?
Shut up. We're not talking about that.
Is this more zippered pants?
And you know what I'm talking about?
Hat?
No, that's not.
I don't know. When you say Brandy, I think Brandy, you're a fine girl. What a good wife you'll be. Something ocean and the sea.
No.
Guardians.
We're talking about Brandy. We're talking about 1990s. We're talking about early 2000s. We're talking about R&B classics. We're talking about I've been watching you like a hawk in the jam. Do we have that queued up? Are we queuing it up? Oh, it's Aaliyah, not what did I say? Brandy. Yeah. Man, Brandy was on TV.
Oh, you're talking about the artist.
Yeah, duh.
Oh,
rest in peace, Aaliyah.
Yeah, R.I.P. Aaliyah. You are really dead, and we miss you, doo-doo. Bump, bump. Yeah, dude. It's Aaliyah. Gentry, he knows. Gus was talking about this. We were talking about Tim Burton. So I'd have to say that Tim Burton fell from grace for me. Big Fish was good. Oh, wait, here we go. I got to make noise so we don't get flagged for copyright infringement.
I don't think that's how it works.
Yes, no, it is. If we talk over it enough that they can't, do the algorithm, then they can't catch us.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah. Was this movie in that Jet Li thing? Here we go. Is this the one that goes, I don't think it is, but it's still Aaliyah. Yeah. I mean, Aaliyah's awesome. I'm pretty sure this is the, I've been watching you.
Anyhow, Dumbo.
He's gonna find it. So Dumbo. So going back to what Dina said, Big Fish was probably the last good one, and that's close because Big Fish was 2001, but you still Corpse Bride was still okay, and Sweeney Todd was still acceptable. Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Monday Night Wars is what we're talking about right now. Some wrestling.
Whoa. Like Monday Night Raw.
Yeah, the Monday Night Wars, like WCW.
Dude,
Monday Nitro versus Raw.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Man, I'll be coming in from the rafters, bro.
Oh, Sting.
Yo, Mark Landry with the YouTube link. Let's see what that's all about. I don't know what that's about. But Charlie and the Chocolate Factory was 2005, which that was a pile of trash. And Alice in Wonderland in 2012 was acceptable viewing material. I didn't.
One of the only movies I've fallen asleep during.
It wasn't great, but then Dark Shadows in 2012 was absolute garbage. And everybody worships Tim Burton for...
How much of that was Depp, though?
Well, I mean, that's Tim Burton. Everybody worships Burton for his 80s and 90s fodder because in the 80s and 90s, he was really doing some killer stuff. And then it wasn't until the early 2000s that he started slipping. He started putting way too many curly trees because here's what happened. Let me tell you what really, truly happened.
He produced Nightmare Before Christmas, and
that is correct. He produced Nightmare Before Christmas. He did not direct Nightmare Before Christmas. So in 1993, when Nightmare Before Christmas happened, he produced it. He just was he went to Henry Selick, who Henry Selick is a effing genius. I love Henry Selick. Stop motion amazeballs. This dude is fantastic, except for Monkey Bone. It's still acceptable. I give you a pass, Henry Selick. I still love you. But Henry Selick, of course, went on to inspire Leica Studios, which is still awesome.
Talk about a movie that you could find 105 copies of at Hastings at any given time. Monkey Bone.
Well, Monkey Bone's still okay. It's still, by today's standards, it's still a pretty good movie. But anyway,
Chris Kattan
here's what happened. He built an empire off of Henry Selick's work. You know? not Chris Kattan's work, but Henry Selick like paved this way and unfortunately like solidified the concrete of the aesthetic that was Tim Burton. And so every movie after Nightmare Before Christmas started to adopt a Selick sort of style.
Risky click.
That Tim Burton was not responsible for, but had to adhere to. And so, you know, he tries to do Corpse Bride, and it had no real depth. And he tried to like make a long version of Frankenweenie, which just didn't fly. I mean, the short film was okay, but the long, you know, here we go. Dirty. Timberland produced. Hey, Jason Norton, Chooch. Don't talk to me about crime babies. Dirty, dirty South. Wait till this goes out. Here goes. I'll be watching you like a hawk in the sky. See, I remember that part. Yeah. Do. Get rid of copyright infringement till we get to the baby part.
I don't think that's how it works.
That's exactly how it works. Do you not know how like audio algorithms work?
No, we're gonna. Yeah, well,
this is exactly how audio algorithms work. Hey, like if you were to pull your phone out right now and be like, check this out. There it is, right there. We got the baby noise. So if you were to pull out your Shazam app and like try and record that, if the Shazam app can get it, we're screwed. But
fun fact, man.
It's the same algorithm.
That guy at TPF who had that Last Action Hero, going back to movies, pinball machine, it had some super killer music playing from it, and I couldn't quite hear it over all of the other pinball machines. I was like, hey, I wonder if, and I pulled out my Shazam, and despite the fact that I could not hear it with my human ears, my Shazam app picked up exactly the song that I wanted to find out, despite every other noise that was going on.
It's getting good.
Because it was just loud enough that you could distinguish it over it if you had robot Data Star Trek ears.
Well, and
like
that's
Shazam.
what we have to like. We have to prepare for robot Data. You remember the episode where we first came up to the Faux Labs and we had all this cool technology, and we were just like, "Hey, check it out! Let's watch this clip from Predator." And then they were like, "Copyright infringement!" After like 40 seconds. We got to prepare for that. So anyway, oh yeah, so. Everybody, Chooch and Landry, they're arguing. We got Terminator. Don't copyright us, bro. So yes, Dina, he did direct Batman Returns instead of doing Nightmare, but Nightmare Before Christmas became amazing. Anyway,
Batman Returns is way cooler than Nightmare Before Christmas. So fight me. No, dude, you have the Penguin, you have Catwoman, you have all of the fun stuff.
Hey, dude, Nightmare Before Christmas. What's this? What's this?
Yeah, I don't need this
product still every Christmas. What's this?
Musical
What's this?
trash.
Still relevant in 2019. What's this? What's this? No one freaking
Batman
remembers
Returns.
Batman Returns. No one.
Are you kidding? Everyone remembers Batman Returns.
Yeah. Look at where Val Kilmer is now.
That wasn't Batman Returns.
Oh yeah, you're right. That was Batman. That was Batman. Whatever.
Batman Returns was Michael Keaton. Batman Returns was Penguin and Catwoman.
I stand corrected.
Yeah.
I stand corrected.
Batman Returns is the most exciting one.
Oh, no. Now I'm back on it.
Has Christopher Walken pushing Catwoman out the window.
It has... Was it Carl Weathers' Two-Face? Not Carl Weathers. Wait a minute. Excuse me. Lando Calrissian, who...
Billy D.
Williams.
Yes.
As Two-Face, who hadn't been Two-Face yet.
Not Two-Face. Harvey Dent.
Harvey Dent, who became
the TV.
Two-Face. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
it also has Pee Wee Herman.
And also Christopher Walken.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
See?
Yeah, Batman Returns was pretty tight.
All right, there you go.
Anyway, everything diverged in the early 2000s, and Tim Burton hasn't been good since. And so he is coming out with Dumbo, and then Beetlejuice 2 is on the horizon. It's supposed to be released later. Yeah, with Michael Keaton, and he's returning the same cast. I don't know if he. Oh, he's probably definitely going to get Alec Baldwin. Why wouldn't he get Alec Baldwin? Alec Baldwin's going to say yes to that. No problem.
How are they going to explain Alec Baldwin, Gina Davis aging?
How are they going to explain Alec Baldwin being so fat?
Yeah, well, okay.
Gina
aging.
Davis, still hot. I met her a couple years ago at the Bentonville Film Festival. Oh, baby.
Yeah, but let's talk about sequels right now. Movie news.
League of Their Own right
Why do
there.
my hands look so small in this video? The best hands. These are the biggest hands. Dude, movie sequels. How about that video that I sent you, bro?
Which one?
The Bill and Ted 3.
Dude, that's posted on our
Confirmation.
drive-in speaker box on Facebook.
Sick. Watch that, y'all.
Wild Stallions returning. Did you guys hear about it? Did you follow us on Facebook?
Yep.
Dude, be excellent to each other. Bill S. Preston Esquire and Ted Theodore Lurgan returning again. Bill and Ted.
Yeah. What is it? What's his name? Eddie Winter? Not Edgar Winter.
No, why did you say that? It's
what's his name? What's his first name? Winter is his last. Oh,
Alex
there it is.
Winter.
Alex Winter and Keanu Reeves on camera announcing that Bill and Ted 3 is gonna be a thing.
Dude, squealy-diddle-deal. We need to get. I'm gonna find you a guitar squeal so we can do Wild Stallions. Because Wild Stallions, like
Quentin walked in on Batman, like
what's
in
up,
the
Q?
bathroom,
What's
or
up, Q?
getting changed.
If you guys want to
Walk in. Oh my god!
if you
I'm
guys
sorry,
are
Batman.
tuning into the audio version of this podcast, you can join in on the fun live on Monday nights and get in on the chat. You can get in on the chat room on Facebook. You can get on the chat on YouTube. You can get in on the chat wherever. But if we're about to start doing this on an audio podcast, so you can download this and listen to it on your commute. But back to Bill and Ted. Bill and Ted, like when I became Beetlejuice 2, you have to say, yeah, it's just double. Beetlejuice, 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 and then he's like, "Hey, nice honking model, honk honk." And yeah, it's gonna be, dude. Okay, so Tim Burton could redeem himself for Beetlejuice 2. He is not gonna redeem himself for Dumbo, which is coming out in theaters. I like how this has taken us almost 15 minutes to get around to.
Insane.
Dumbo is coming out in theaters this week. Dumbo, you can check it out. It's creepy. It's live action. It's got Danny DeVito. It's got Michael Keaton. It's got Dumbo. It's got a feather.
That Irish guy that was the thing for a minute.
It's got Penguin's mom in it. It's got Pee-wee's wife and Batman with Simone from Big Adventure. It's got Q throwing facts out on Facebook. It's got all these things. You can check it out. But you know what? Who cares? Because Bill and Ted, we got Tim Burton. I just don't know. Everyone's going to be way more excited about Beetlejuice 2 than Dumbo. I promise you.
Well, yeah, because Dumbo's sad, dude.
I mean, if you think about it, Beetlejuice could be sad too.
And they're not going to have the crows in this movie.
The Crow? Remember when the Crow sequel, prequel, reboot?
Not that Crow. What are
different? That's how my brain works. I'm sorry.
What else is coming out this week?
That's
Anything?
it.
That's it.
No,
Just the two.
Just those two. So you could see Dumbo, or you could see the Beach Bum coming out in theaters this week. Let's talk about. We need to review our movies. We're running out of time. Let's talk about The Dirt. We're going to talk about The Dirt right now. This is the part in the show where we review movies that came out this weekend. The Grip checked out The Dirt on Netflix exclusive, the movie about Motley Crue. I checked out Us, the new Jordan Peele movie. We're going to talk about that in a second. Let's talk about The Dirt. Let's talk about Kickstarting My Heart. Let's talk about Mama, I'm Going Home. Let's talk about Motley Crue. Let's get with it.
So The Dirt, instantly, man, it's going to draw some Bohemian Rhapsody comparisons because it spent 10 years in development hell. It went through several different studios, several different directors, producers, everything going on. It finally came to Netflix, and Netflix told the band that they would have exclusive veto, the ability to veto and okay anything that went on screen, and they went with Netflix. So you actually have the band producing it, just like Bohemian Rhapsody. Going into it, man, you have starring Machine Gun Kelly and Ramsey Bolton, Ewan Rion, as like two of the members of Motley Crue. And you're like, no way, dude. Machine Gun Kelly as Tommy Lee and Ramsey Bolton as Mick Mars.
Fun, side note story. Another boom operator, 1 degree separation from everything that's cool story. Totally caught. I have one of Tommy Lee's drumsticks.
Sick.
Caught it at a concert.
Nikki
There you go.
Sixx.
Nikki Sixx.
So I wasn't expecting anything from this movie other than a sweet soundtrack, which had
Whoa, yeah, baby. Like last night, I'm not kidding you. Like the Grip and I were driving back from Texas, jamming Motley Crue. The whole drive, we're just, well, at least an hour of the drive, we're just like.
Yeah, we're both big Motley Crue fans. That's the kind of thing that we're into. I got a Kiss hoodie on. I mean, I like rock and roll. That's the thing that
Because I haven't seen it yet. I'm probably going to go home and watch it
Well,
tonight.
this is coming from a fan of Motley Crue.
That was my question. How do you think that this movie, I mean, because we're obviously fans of Motley Crue. We love the Crue because we like to party. Take your hair down for like 2 seconds. Like,
No,
shake it.
I'm
Come
not
on.
gonna do that.
Come on. Don't be a punk bitch. Like, be metal for
Wow.
like 2 seconds. No one's going to fight you. Be metal for like a second. Can you
Never.
be metal? Can you show everybody how metal you are?
No, I don't need to do
Like,
that.
I will give you, you don't have to pay for your TPF ticket if you take your metal down, right?
No,
If you take
not worth it to me.
$60?
Yeah, I'm not.
$60. Just do a hair toss.
No way.
$60.
I'm not going to do that right
$70.
now. I don't need to put
$80.
Remember Halloween? This is Halloween again.
$80. I will give you $80 if you do a hair toss.
I don't need
$80. Anybody in the audience, would you do a hair toss for me for $10?
I don't need to prove how metal I am to anyone, man.
Come on. Okay, so the question remains, like, we're fans. If I had a sweet bun that I could just be like, hot for teacher, and like, you know, make it happen, I would totally do it.
Oh, well, speaking of hot for
but
teacher,
I'm not holding that back from the crowd that
man.
needs it. I'm not the guy that's keeping this amazing gift from the world like some people. But anyway,
Hot for Teacher. You get to see everything about the Crew, all of the big famous stories. You get to see Diamond Dave partying with them. You get to see Ozzy snort ants and lick piss and do the crazy things that Motley Crue was known for. You get to see him throw TVs out of the hotel rooms, and everything is. And I was watching it with a friend, and she was like, is that real? I'm like, oh yeah, no, that's a true story.
Rock and roll,
yeah. And
baby.
so every time there was something in that movie, it's like, this is a real story from Motley Crue, and that's what really happened. Sometimes it's out of alignment with what year it took place or how it went, but they did that for the movie purposes. And so far at the end product, all the interviews with Vince Neil and Nikki Sixx and the guys, they're like, yeah, I mean,
that's pretty much how it went down.
It's better than
party tape.
Yeah, it's no. It's better than it has any right to be, and it's fun. At the end of the movie, you get to see the guys hanging out with the real Motley Crue while filming it and everything like that. But they nail it, man, and it just absolutely destroys Bohemian Rhapsody. And I don't
for accuracy.
For everything, man.
Well, and here's the deal. Here's the thing. Going to address Tony on Facebook real quick. Thoughts on Time Bandits. We actually talked about that on the previous 2 episodes. Short hot take. Really wish that they'd have Terry Gilliam because he's still alive. Anyway, but back to Motley Crue. Here, the thing that's strange is, you know, because Queen. Everybody literally loves singing Queen songs at karaoke. Queen is so much more relevant to millennial white bread America than Motley Crue.
What?
No, hear me out. Like, when you and I go to the karaoke bar and we're like, yo, let's sing Mama, I'm Coming Home. Let's just do it. And we bro out and we're having a moment and we're having a great time. You having a Coors Light, I'm having a gin and tonic. And we're like, clink.
No, don't put that on me. I don't
that happened
drink light
once.
beer. I do not.
Or Coors
drink light
Heavy.
beer.
Okay, you got your Coors Banquet. I got my gin. We're clank and we're having a great time. And it's just us against the world. And we're having we forget because we're in that moment. Nobody else sings Motley Crue. Like, it's almost of a bygone era, but people are still like, Galileo Figaro, I'll see you poor, like everyone's still doing that. Like, that's still relevant. And so I think that's one of the reasons that Bohemian Rhapsody is getting the push that it is because people still give a shit. But Motley Crue is a cooler story to be told.
Well, but this just has so many parallels with that movie, and it does it so much better. You get the truth about things. You don't get a completely fictionalized portrayal of what happened.
But is it? But maybe this is where I'm coming from. Is like the real life Motley Crue so insane that it seems fictionalized, and maybe audiences are like, "There's no way that could ever happen." But that should happen because the Crue was the Crue, y'all.
Well, yeah, man, and that's
like,
that's
come
the
on.
thing, and you get to hear that in the movie. They break the fourth wall, and
Can we get like the first 30 seconds of "Kickstart My Heart"?
Anyhow, if you want to watch a good biopic, if you want to see a movie about rock and roll, if you want to see an insane tale of crazy characters coming together, doing something amazing, The Dirt actually was pretty freaking sweet. And I stayed up until like 5 a.m. finishing that because we got back from out of town late. I had to go through, do a couple of things, and then it was 5 a.m., but I couldn't stop. I couldn't stop watching it. I've had less than 10 hours of sleep in the last 4 days, and I couldn't sleep. It was amazing.
Yeah, this is what it's about.
Why is it on me? You need to see this. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a Crue, y'all.
So, you are straight up Lou from Hot Tub Time Machine.
Yes. Because I can't be Vince. I can't be Nikki. I can't be Mick. I can't be Tommy. I can't be any of the Crew. I got to be the guy from Hot Tub Time Machine. And it's sad. All right, so The Dirt on Netflix. Let's talk about us. Now that I'm hypnotiqued and wind down.
Yeah, well.
Let's talk about us. It's the last review of the night, so we're going to talk about Us. It's in theaters right now. It's the new film from Jordan Peele, and
You're too cute.
because I like the Crew, dude. Motley Crue's awesome. So, okay, here's the deal. I was not looking forward to Us because
hurts, bro.
I wasn't looking forward to Us. I'm sorry. No, because when the first Peele film came out, which everybody was just losing their mind about. Everybody wanted to talk about how important it was and how socially relevant it was and how, Get Out was just going to change the way that people viewed race in film. It's like, can we get that out? Let's view this film as a film. Let's view this film as a piece. Let's view this film as what it needs to be. And stop, like, it's not a journey. It's not this social message fight, constant. Like, everybody wants to fight. Everybody wants things to be some sort of mob justice. And that ruined Get Out for me. I mean, Get Out was a pretty interesting, pretty great, like, experiment in modern horror.
What? Just make a fart noise and a poop tube motion with your hand.
And but Us... Like, I was like, man, are they going to do this again? Are they going to just repeat the same sort of let's churn, let's bellow the embers of social justice to sort of create some sort of atmosphere of uncriticizable content. But I went and saw it. This movie's freaking sweet.
Is it?
Us is tight. Us is so much better than Get Out.
Is it extra creepy?
No, I mean, it's not creepy. It's just, oh man. Okay, so Us is the first movie that Jordan Peele has made that in my opinion, really shows his chops as a filmmaker. Get Out was good. Us takes that to the next level and then builds on his credibility as a filmmaker. Because what Us really is Us is a love letter to everything that has influenced him as a content creator. And that is, that's something that, people like Quentin Tarantino have built an empire on. A lot of people think that Quentin Tarantino is such an amazing filmmaker. It's not that he's an amazing filmmaker. He's very well versed in content. He worked at a video store when he was young, much like us. And a lot of the things that he does, that we're in a culture of everybody wants remakes, reboots, sequels, prequels. Everybody wants to take content that we're familiar with and just put a new spin on it. And you know, screw that. But we also live in a world where we're content void. Like, we are getting to a point where so much content's getting created, it's inevitable that we're going to copy more content. That is understood. But where it becomes an art form is when you can take pre-existing content, borrow influences, borrow thematics, borrow the overall vibe of these things, to use a more modern term, and then create something new to sort of remix it. Then that is the talent. Not going, we're going to make Transformers 29. Like, that is not, we're going to make the Marvel Cinematic Universe Part 45. That's not original. What's original is when you go, man, you know what I love? I love this movie. 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 I love I love this huge list of movies, and I wish I could remake all of them. But you know what? I'm going to take one piece of this. I'm going to take one piece of that. I'm going to take one piece of this. I'm going to take a piece of that, and I'm going to stir it into this gumbo of something new. And that's what Us was. It was completely original, new horror borrowed from a laundry list of stuff that he appreciated. And the thing right at the beginning, and I even took a picture because I was like, man, I want to save this for later because there's something here. Because as a director that is competent, here, give me a camera here. Boop. Oop, there it is. One of the scenes, there's like right at the beginning, it's like 1984. I only got the left side, but there were some movies on the right side that I kind of remember from memory. I was like, oh, dude, VHS cassettes on a wall, like in a quick scene, this has got to mean something. And so there was movies like, dude.
Instead of mashed potatoes, you're like, VHSs on a shelf. This means something.
But you know, and it set the tone. Like, if a guy like me that has spent most of his life sort of studying film, understanding film, and appreciating all these different things, you see these things and automatically, like, this one frame of this movie told me so much about what was going to happen that it was really exciting. You know, the fact that he had Chud on the three, like, I don't know if you guys know anything about me. I do a big Halloween party every year, and one of my most famous posters was a reimaging of the Chud movie poster. And because Chud is a great movie that no one knows about, and it's about these underground, like, homeless people that get corrupted by some toxic waste, and they become cannibal, like, humanoid monsters, and they come up from the surface and they eat people. And you know, it's really awesome and really stupid, but it's great. And it's one of these lost films. But this movie borrowed from all of these movies, like Lost. There was a huge homage to Lost Boys. They even shot a huge portion of this at the same pier that they did in Lost Boys. The Santa Carla pier was the Santa Cruz pier, and you know, the coaster was there, and like everything was just this very subtle love letter to all of this original content without being copycat. And just sitting in this theater, I'm just like, wow, because you can borrow, you can duplicate. That's easy to do, especially now when a lot of people don't know this content. But to emulate properly is an art form, and I got sucked in like instantly. And so this movie is all about duality. I mean, it's one part Chud, it's one part The Goonies, it's a part The Lost Boys, it's a part The Shining, it's a part, like, all of these different things that he's making reference and homage to, that the story is about essentially the duality of humanity and the concept of soul, and there's some science fiction elements. I don't want to go too much into a spoiler, even though there's humongous spoiler alerts in the trailer, but there's a twist ending that is actually good. Like, I know that you don't like horror movies, but I want you to see this movie.
Nope.
Like, it's not about monsters. It's not really about like not a lot of people get killed, but man, it does social commentary well. It's talking about, like, you know, he makes reference to Hands Across America. And if you don't understand what Hands Across America was, like, if you didn't live in that time, which a lot of people didn't because it happened in the late 80s. But it was this fundraiser that just fell flat on its ass. It was a valiant effort, but it was really just for the cameras, you know?
You want me to watch horror movie? There is a new Critters coming out. I will totally watch that.
I know you'll watch Critters. But this movie it's all about duality. And as I never watch review or read reviews until I see a movie. And I came up to the Faux Labs to get set up today. And I was quickly like scrubbing through a couple of reviews, and I'm seeing all these people that don't understand anything that happened in the movie. Vulture, Thrillist, New York Times. These people have no clue what's happening in this movie because they have no sense of reference to what Jordan Peele is doing in this movie. And there's just, he's the main character is wearing a Thriller t-shirt in the beginning, which is a reference to Michael Jackson. I'm like, well, no shit, you idiot. Like, but you're not getting the deeper meaning of this. You're not peeling back the onion of all the different references and all the different layers of what he's trying to say about futility and soul and duality and the face that you put forth to society and the face that you have behind closed doors and those things that fight and just like, man, it's part science fiction. It was part, dude, this movie was really, really good.
You know what I did watch about this movie, since you said he has a Thriller shirt on, there is a video that someone made where it's the 4 family members and the creepy 4, they're like alter egos or whatever it is in red jumpsuits show up, and they put their mask on, their creepy mask, but then they start dancing because they're Jabberwockies, from America's Best Dance Crew, and they do a whole like dance thing. That was pretty sick. I watched that.
The idea of this movie is these.
You know about Jabberwockies?
I do know about Jabberwockies. You can
yeah.
only kill them with a Vorpal sword.
No, dude, the dancers, bro.
Yeah. Oh, those Jabberwockies.
Yeah,
I was thinking more classical Jabberwockies. Have you watched Jabberwocky? Terry Gilliam. Going back to Terry Gilliam. Going back to the comments. Going back to Tony Garrett. Full circle.
I watched a number of horror movies. That's why I know I don't
Jabberwockies is a Monty Python movie. Yeah, it's the lesser known Monty Python movie. But anyway, this movie is really, really, really well done. It's not very scary. The ending is, the one thing that I think that they should have referenced, but they didn't, is They Live. I think is very relevant to this movie. Except
did they put a baby in a blender?
And there wasn't Roddy Piper either.
Oh, I was thinking of Dead Alive.
You were thinking of Dead Alive, yeah, or Maximum Overdrive, which is the lady, the blender.
Yeah, They Live. Yeah, you got to put on the sunglasses. And
and Roddy Piper sees the truth, and but it's all about
R.I.P.
It's all about society and duality and the concept of soul and a lot of really interesting things. And there's so many things that I want to say that I can't, because this movie does have an actual ending that is worth a shit, and that I want you guys to see. I want you guys to experience it with no spoilers. And I had a great time in this movie. And what this movie does, and I'm gonna asterisk real quick because I know everybody loves being a social justice warrior. I'm gonna asterisk real quick. Yeah. Because everybody loves being a social justice warrior, even if they don't understand why. And the thing that I think this movie does, whereas everyone's like, Get Out was such a milestone in African American cinema, blah blah blah. No, not really. When you pander to the lowest common denominator to get people like Black Panther is not going to be remembered. It's not. Like, you fast forward 5 years from now, it's not going to be a milestone in African American cinema. I could make you a laundry list of movies that are way more important than that movie will ever be in African American cinema. But this movie, I think, is way more important, and people are not going to talk about it because they don't have to pander to the social justice card to make this movie relevant. This movie is entertaining, it's deep, it's philosophical, it's important, it's visually fantastic, the sound is great, the editing is great, and it has a complete African-American cast and an African-American director. That they're making a great film that appeals to everyone.
I just realized that we didn't do our yearly February Black History Month
That's because
movies like we would normally do.
It's because we don't have a radio show, and I can't sit here and play music from all the fantastic movies. And that's something. If you go back in previous episodes of the Drive-In Speakerbox, we do a Black History Month special every February, and we pay homage to tons and tons of African American cinema because, dude, it's out there, and people think that it was invented at Black Panther, and it hasn't been. It's been out there the whole time. But this is why I think Us is important, is because this movie is great, and everyone can sit in the theater and appreciate how great this movie is, and it's not a race thing. And that's the trick, guys, is for us to stop thinking about things in terms of breaking walls. If we just understand that the walls are there because we put them there, that's the problem. If there's no walls, then we're all on the same page, and this movie does it. This movie is, I think everybody, I mean, if you want a scary movie, if you want a good movie, if you just want a suspense thriller, this movie is really, really, really good, you guys. Boom. So Dina says, ending was spoiled for me. I'm bummed, but I'm still looking forward to seeing it. I think you will. It's a great ride. It's a great journey. It's got a lot of homage to a lot of really good things without being sort of derivatory and heavy-handed. And so, I went in thinking this movie was not going to be good, and I came out going, damn! And I really, really liked it. So there you go. Us, it's in theaters. I didn't think I'd be giving Jordan Peele this much credit, but damn, that was a good movie.
I didn't think I would like The Dirt. So
Drive-In Speakerbox episodes where we both like the movies that we saw.
Rare.
There you go. It is rare. It is rare. All right. So I know it's getting a little bit late. I know the Grip has to get back to work. So we are going to jump up this box office roundup really quick. For the weekend of March 22nd through 24th, 2019, we're going to give you the top 10 movies in America. We're going to start with number 10. We're going to work our way up to number 1. And we do domestic numbers for a reason, because domestic numbers are the ones that establish whether or not movies are going to get greenlit. So if a movie does great overseas but doesn't do great domestically, chances are it's not going to get a sequel greenlight. But if they do great here in the States, then we'll probably see more and more of them than we ever need. So the number 10 movie in America right now, still Alita Battle Angel from Fox, bringing in $1.08 million in the box office in its 6th weekend release, bringing in a total of $83 million at the box office. I'm going to see if I can, there we go.
Not even half the budget.
Yeah, not even half the budget. $170 million budget, only bringing in 83, but it has paid for itself because in the Chinese market, the Chinese market has brought this movie like crazy money. I want to say like give me a couple clicks and I'll boil it down for you. So in China alone, which is the biggest market that this movie's made money in. Well, actually, let's not even go to China. Let's go to the second biggest country, South Korea, 16 million. France, oddly enough, 15 million. But China, $132 million this movie has brought in. Like monstrous box office totals over there, more than the United States, which is important if you think about this, just like when we talked about World of Warcraft back when that came out. But the domestic here in the States, $83 million. And so it has brought in a worldwide of 400 million, which is, of course, well over its initial budget. But the fate of Alita Battle Angel is up in the air.
Well, you know what really sucks about that is that this one leaves off halfway through the story. Mm-hmm. Like it's like a to be continued episode.
Yeah, it sets it up.
Not even like a cliffhanger or anything like that.
No, it is like wait for part 2.
Yeah, it's like it will immediately pick up from the second that this one ends. It's like this is the first half. There's an intermission. And you may never see anything after that intermission.
Right, just like The Golden Compass. This movie was made to have a sequel, and we may not ever see that sequel. So we will keep you tuned with that. Number 9, the Lego Movie Part 2, second part from Warner Brothers, bringing in $1.1 million in its 7th weekend release, only bringing in $103 million nationwide. So again, another stretch. Will we see another Lego movie? I don't know. I also don't really care. But we're going to see more Lego franchise, because the direct-to-DVD market on the Lego movies is that's actually where their money's made. The Batman Legos, the Star Wars Legos, all the other Lego cinematic universes that don't make it to the theaters.
Batman Lego was in the theater. We watched it, remember?
We did talk about that, and that was actually better than the Lego.
Yeah, Lego Batman was actually pretty sweet.
So we'll. I don't know if we're gonna get another a proper Lego movie sequel. We will see what the Playmobil movie has to say about that, but I don't think it's gonna be great. Number 8, Gloria Bell from A24. A24, another studio that I really like. With a very limited release movie, only in 654 theaters nationwide, but still coming in with $1.6 million at the box office in its 3rd weekend release. Coming up, doing really well for itself. But here's another strange one. The number 7 movie in America is No Manchas Frida number 2 from PNT, bringing $1.7 million in only 472 theaters nationwide. That's monstrous. That's almost as good as the number 3 movie in America. So it has brought in about $6.6 million in its 2nd weekend, very, very limited release. So making it to the top 10, that says something. So number 6, we've got Tyler Perry's A Medea's Family Funeral from Lionsgate, bringing in $4.4 million in its 4th weekend release, bringing it up to $65 million. So again, doing very well for itself because it's a relatively low-budget movie. Will we see the last of Tyler Perry's Madea? This is supposed to be the end-all, be-all of Medea's, but it's still making $65 million. It's still technically relevant. I think we will probably see another Madea before our lives are done. Don't you think?
Yeah, it'll never end.
It's never going to end because money equals more money. And they're not going to go, oh, well, that was super financially successful. Well, let's stop. Let's just not make $45 million. Because we said we weren't going to make $45 million. I don't ever want to do that again. That's for stupid people. We're going to see another Madea movie, I promise you. Number 5, How to Train Your Dragon, The Hidden World from Universal, bringing in $6.5 million at the box office in its 5th weekend release. $129 million budget, bringing in $145 million, showing us that the How to Train Your Dragon franchise is still relevant. It's still very relevant, even though it has been away from the theaters for a really long time and has only existed in video on demand for the past few years.
Well, I've had the opportunity to hang out with a 7-year-old a few times recently, and she is super stoked about How to Train Your Dragon and has talked to me about the TV show the last 2 times that I've talked to her about anything. She just brings it up out of the blue. She's like, hey, you know what I think is sick? How to Train Your Dragon. And I was like, oh, I actually just watched that last movie. She's like, yeah, but check out the things going on in the show.
Check out the expanded universe.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's still really popular with kids because she just brought it up out of the blue both times.
Because
and that's
children
what she gets amped on,
still
man.
want to train their dragons.
Well, yeah, dude, it's a cool concept, man.
It is. Number 4, 5 feet apart from Lionsgate, bringing in $8.5 million in its 2nd weekend release, coming in with a $26 million return domestically. Doing okay, indie film about like sickness and death and love. Number 3, Wonder Park from Paramount, bringing in $8.7 million in its 2nd weekend release. Also, total domestic gross of $29.2, so still under the $30 million mark. Number 2, Captain Marvel, getting bumped down to number 2 in its 3rd weekend release.
Take that fabricated 90s nostalgia bullcrap.
Blah, blah, blah. Buena Vista, $34.2 million in its 3rd weekend release in 4,200 theaters nationwide. The number 3 movie in America has 3,838. The number 1 movie in America has 3,741 theaters. So, hey, guess what, Captain Marvel? People don't give a shit no more because they figured it out. It ain't that great. So, On average, $8,000 per theater. Guess what? You're only coasting on MCU. Do right there. He called it out. Jason called it out. Chooching it up. Doing it up right there. Dina also calling it out. If you're listening to the audio podcast, Dina's trying to hustle you guys to get in the Drive-In Speakerbox Fantasy Movie League, FML. Is what you're going to be saying, Fantasy Movie League, but FML when you join that league, because she's going to crush you like a bug. But if you want to join the Drive-In Speakerbox Movie League, it's out there. The password is Drive-In Speakerbox. You can check it out. She's currently 131 overall. One of our listeners right there, Dina, 131 ranked overall in the entirety of Fantasy Movie League. Given props to
the
our
other
local
130
Dina.
people are actually involved in the industry, have insider trading type things going on.
She's killing them. She's crushing them. She's just punching them in the face. But the number one movie in America, which we just reviewed, is Us from Universal Studios with the train in the background. Can you shut up, train, or try to do a podcast? $71 million. That is a monstrous opening for a movie that only had, get this, $20 million budget. Punched it right up in the dick. Bow! Right there. Killed it. Just monstrous crotched it punch. Like,
that's how horror movies work.
Low budget, good but here's the thing. You don't need a big budget to make a good movie. That's what we should all be taking from this. We don't need $250 million for a Captain Marvel that everyone's going to forget tomorrow. I think this movie, Us, more than Get Out, it's going to be one of those movies that people revisit. People are going to check it out year after year. And it's like, oh, man, you know what? Let's watch this movie again because it's good. Because it knows how to build suspense. It knows how to build characters. It knows how to have a great ending. It's one of those movies where you're like, oh, you never seen that? Let me watch it with you. People are going to share this movie. I can't believe I like this movie as much as I do. But it made $71 million at the box office. So that is really good. That is an average of almost $20,000 per theater. Whoa. Captain Marvel only had 8. Amateur night. So Us.
Oh, no, she didn't.
No, she didn't, but she did because it's Us. And I think everybody needs to go see this movie because damn, if you like The Lost Boys, go see it. If you like Chud, definitely go see it. On that, I know I didn't talk about this too much, but on that movie shelf, there was a Steve Martin VHS for The Man with Two Brains. Do you remember that movie? And there was another one that was The Right Stuff. I don't know. And it's funny because The Vulture, which is a very popular website for people to get their news from, they're like, there's a reference to The Right Stuff, but your guess is as good as mine. I'm like, motherfucker, you never seen that movie. That's why your guess is as good as mine, is because you don't know. And like guys like us, guys like me that's seen this movie, that we know why this is a relevant reference. It's because it's a family dynamic movie about people that were involved in a weird technological experiment that are trying to cope with what family life is after this crazy shit that they can't really talk about, they can't really be a part of. And it's like, how do they interact in this family environment? How do they act normal around these people that know them and love them and accept them? And there's this huge secret that they can't share. That's The Right Stuff. That's why that movie's great. It's about the NASA program. And this whole movie, Us, is about this experiment that this lady can't talk about. God damn, I don't want to give spoilers, but it's a perfect reference to have on that shelf. And these fucking websites that have these 20-year-olds that have never seen movies in their life trying to review movies and trying to give you, the viewer, the person that goes to these websites to get their opinions about movies that don't know shit about movies. Don't go to these websites. Watch the Drive-In Speakerbox, like and subscribe, because we know about these movies. We watch these movies.
Like our content.
I'm out of wine.
That's probably a good thing.
It is probably a good thing. But here's the thing. We watch these movies so you don't have to.
No, so that you can. If
so
you
that
want
you,
to.
so that you can. I mean, the worst of list. We watch those movies so you don't have to.
Yeah, those we do. Yeah.
But here's the thing: like and subscribe, share, because the Vulture. These people get paid a lot. The Thrillist. Those people get paid. Their reviews are shit because they're going to Wikipedia and they're going, I don't never heard of this movie and I hear it's a reference. Oh yeah, okay, click. This person was in it. Oh, Joel Schumacher directed Lost Boys. I think that's about vampires. Corey Feldman was in that. He was also in The Goonies. You know, it's like fuck you. Because you're just doing web research. You're not sitting there watching these movies because that movie's 2 hours long. I guess I don't need to watch that. Wikipedia. We're all gonna ride up in Troy's bucket. It's our time down here. Oh yeah, I watched that clip. Oh, that was a reference in Us. Like fuck you. Like
wait, they have a
yes, they have a Troy's bucket reference. It's our time. It's our time down here. Yeah, they say that in the movie.
Are there booty traps?
There are not booty trap. That's what I said. No, there are none of those. But Goonies is one of the VHS things on. And there's a VHS that says Thursday nights, just in Sharpie, and I haven't found a direct reference to it. But in my brain, Thursday nights is when like TBS, the Superstation, TNT, like all these channels on cable would show monster movies on Thursday nights. And it was one of those, because you would put the VHS in and you would hit record and you would record this stuff and watch it, and no one's mentioned this online yet. No one's like, oh, here's an Easter egg for blah blah blah, because you weren't born yet. And I was there. I was watching it. I was born yet. And that's what we would do. We would record those things that happened on Thursday nights because that's when the good movies were shown. You remember Gilbert Gottfried's USA Up All Night? You ever tried to watch scrambled porn to see a nipple to try and get an erection? Like, yeah. And it turns out it was a Disney Channel? Yeah, shut up like you didn't do it. You know you were there. You know you were there. Don't get out of this frame. That's real talk. That's stuff you don't get on these dumbass websites, these dumbass internet reviewers that don't. You just don't get that. You get that here on the Drive and Speakerbox. Bam. That's what you get on the Drive and Speakerbox. So anyway, thanks for tuning in. You know what? That's our thing. That's our show. Yeah. That's what you get. That's what you get. Like and subscribe. Check us out. Boom Operator, Driving Speakerbox, Facebook.com. Do it. We'll see you next time. I'm the Boom Operator.
I'm the grip.
Turn our mics off.